Looks like we're back. Appreciate everybody's patience. I'm gonna pause that. I'm gonna make sure everything looks good from here. Okay. Once again, greatly appreciate everybody's patience. It's a marathon. Stuff happens sometimes. Alright, so, from where I left off, I was describing a little bit about the game. This is a game I learned earlier this month, and out of the 11 new games I learned this month, this was probably my favorite. This is a SNK beat-em-up called Mutation Nation. Very difficult game where we only get a 1 life credit, wherein the goal is, for me, always to try to see if I can 1cc the game. But it's a sweet game to watch. You get to have all these really cool superpowers and fight all these really gross creatures, and it's a horror game. Go ahead and load that here. We'll go ahead and start it up at 3, 2, 1, go. See what I can do about describing some of these mechanics. There's a lot going on in this game. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna charge up for these enemies that are gonna pop out of the wall. Unleash some Chun-Li fury on them real quick. So I'm gonna use that jab technique a lot. I'll explain that here in a moment once I clear the screen. So we picked up our first charge attack. All of them are labeled by different letters. A attack is by far the weakest, but it has some uses. Let's see if I can clear them out. Let this guy show up, see if I can take him out in 1 punch. Whoops. Dropped it, we retained it, cool. So now I picked up B. B is incredibly powerful. Probably the best letter attack in the game. I'm gonna move it over here, unleash this giant fireball. Pop over another one. You guys get out of my way. This is always really scary to do because any enemy hitting you out of it can cost you a lot of time and some health. And health doesn't recover between stages like a lot of arcade games. Snag a couple of these. These will refill the letters that we already have active. Take one of these Beetleborgs out. Over here, charge up on the line. You're gonna see a fair amount of this through these screens here. So I've got them, so I might as well use them. Once we pick up another letter, it gives us 3 of that letter. See that guy, charge up again. These guys pop in. And have another mid-boss. This game is littered with mid-boss fights, by the way. Just got out a few punches. Alright, so to talk a little bit about the punch technique I'm using. From any jab, if you hold up or down, with proper timing, what can happen is you can create a situation that turns it into a pseudo-infinite, where you basically just get to take out every enemy in front of you by not dropping a combo. Quick talk about C. C is probably the longest duration special attack that we have, but it does have the longest startup, which is actually advantageous in some ways. These enemies pop in here, let that rip. Okay, that was good RNG. Those 3 guys that pop in the window don't always show up at the same time, but they did that time, and that's awesome. Alright, so our first boss, this guy's kind of a troll. We're going to be utilizing a lot of jabs on him. His trolling comes in the form of jumping. If he decides to jump at any given point, he gets juggled, which is bad for us because that means I can't maintain a combo on him. Move to the second phase pretty quickly after only 1 drop. Good second phase. Third phase, he transforms this thing in the center, but I'm going to try and see if I can just combo him real quick. Very good. Yeah, that's actually what I forgot to point to that. One of my favorite memes this game is the first door you come to, you just walk through it and it just disintegrates. It's great. Game is high on the hype factor. Stage 2. First room's pretty simple. Get our first instance of the D attack. D, I think, is our second most powerful attack. Does have the longest duration, though. Spin into a tornado, knock everything off. Gonna avoid using it here, though, while I take out these ghouls that are showing up. Bug-looking duders. These guys I don't even really mind. I'm not gonna try to interact with them. See, those things aren't even gonna hit us. However, once these spawn, I'm gonna go ahead and wind up again. Let that rip. Now, in this case, I try to option select it by picking up this power-up here. Also, thing to note, these power-ups that we pick up do heal us. Each one is worth 1 hit point of our 8 that we start with. Makes them even more important to have to pick up. Okay, I tried to jab the guy coming over the bottom right, but the spacing on that's kind of specific, and I'm not sweating it. Do that again. Let these guys pop out, they get hit too. Punch that guy and reappear. It'll be our first room. Love the background here, by the way. The ship with the sunset looks super duper good. Alright, so this guy, I'm hoping for a good pattern here where he jumps down like that. We avoid his jump and attack. Gonna transition to a second phase where it looks like Bane. Alright, maintain. Very good. That can be really scary. He can break out of that at any point with a 1-frame reversal. He just didn't that time. We get the last use of our D attack here with these enemies that pop in and the motorcycles. So here we have our choice between C and B. B is definitely the correct choice. We also get quite a bit of leeway of being able to pick those up off screen, as you can see. So we got these motorcycles, better than getting hit by them. These guys are going to pop in. I'm going to have a grab set up here. I'm going to try to knock one to the left. That way I have them all on the same side so I can just try and take care of them one by one. Or in groups if they prefer. They can be pretty unpredictable when they get free. Wait, I don't want to do that. Also, these are the only enemies in the game you can juggle, which is really cool, but it's kind of impractical because you can't do it to more enemies. So that was a little wonky, but they're gone. Same deal here, try to get to the other side. There's a number of different strats you can do here. This is just the one I prefer because, much with any beat 'em up, I prefer to have enemies all on one side if I can help it, especially when my jab is as busted as it is in this game. So I'm gonna move us on to our boss. First thing we're gonna do is move to the bottom, wind up a B, let it go. She's gonna dance a lot too, which is really cool. Okay, that's not good. I did not want that to happen. Okay, give me 1 second. I got kind of RNG'd out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just unleash this. This is gonna cost me some health. Okay, so now I have to see if I can combo. This is gonna be hard. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, we were definitely in trouble. That miss was really bad. Okay, so not a good boss fight. Already in a bit of trouble. I will be able to heal a bit at the start of the next stage, but I kind of need some cleanliness there. So what I was anticipating was her not jumping, and she did, and that's really, really bad luck. I should have waited it out, but I didn't. Take this. Go ahead and do this. Wind up with some A. It's weird, she rarely does the, so when she wakes up out of that, what she does is she has two options. She can either jump to try to get it positioning on you, or she can just wind up another set of larvae to throw at you. And normally she does the latter. And by normally I mean like I think 100% of times after the first cycle she always has done that. And I guess she decided to make today the exception and I wasn't ready for it. Once EC's still alive, but her health is no bueno. This stage is pretty sweet though, so we'll get to enjoy that at least. Music's really good. Get to walk by on a bunch of trucks. Flatbeds no less. Here I tend to use a special attack because they spawn at different points, top and bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and lay that down. Quick mid-boss here. This guy can be pretty annoying if he gives us a rough pattern. Okay, he did not decide to do the long charge. That's really, really good. Where are you going? Okay. So the hard part's taken care of. I still have to get rid of this clown. Quick shot of decals there. Kill you, Mad Scorpion, in the meltdown. Wind this up. Let that rip. We had to do this quickly because we want to make sure we get those power-ups. Those do disintegrate. Like, there's diminishing returns on these. We're going to go ahead and make sure we collect the B second. Each one's worth an HP, which is good. Okay, so I think I charge up here. Normally I do, but I was kind of debating it, given what happened. They wanted some different spots. This segment can be kind of rough because these guys love to jump, and their hitbox when they are jumping in on you is very much in their favor, unless they jump at a very specific angle, in which case we can anti-air them. So I'm hoping to pretty much have that happen all the time. Yeah, I don't love that. Had to jump out of that way. What they do sometimes is they'll do like a complete lateral jump, and that's really, really hard to counter, if not impossible. But they behaved that time, so I got lucky. Another mid-fight, same as the first one we had, but this time it's two of them. I had to get out of the way of that. That long charge is a lot of damage, and it has a ton of priority. Like, I can't actually beat it unless I get out of the way. So one down. Okay, cool. Took him out. Let this other guy up here. All right, there we go. Good second truck. One of the best I've had this week, actually. And shout outs to long trucks for sure. Last segment of the stage, so I'm going to stay on top. We're actually safe from those flying drone bugs. This is why I prefer to stay up here. Take out one more. With this rip. Wanted to make sure those 2 insects were taken out. I'm gonna chill out down here for now. Let them come to me. Okay, so here I'm gonna have to do a little bit of defensive play. We're gonna drop down to fight our boss. That was a really good stage. Let's see if the boss cooperates the same. If he comes down to the bottom pixel like I hope he does, I can infinite him, so we're gonna go for it. Ah, went too fast. If your rhythm is too quick, that can happen. But we can recover. He's gonna transform, hopefully he doesn't do anything. Awesome, okay. Ooh, that was really good stage 3. With an actual trailer. I like it. Okay. Really good stage 3. A lot of cooperation there. Got one B attack left. So I'm gonna move in here and charge it. Let this fancy Freddie Mercury pop in. Let that rip. Go along the middle. These ants that crawl in from the side are incredibly dangerous. I think you can interact with them, but you're better off generally just not doing it. I prefer to jump them, like so. I got a timing on a C attack I want to set up here. The idea is I want a second dog to show up in time to get hit by the C attack, which you did not. That's unlucky, but that's fine. Yeah, I can't say I've ever been hit by that, but okay. So we got a refight of the 2 skaters from the last stage. What are you doing? Okay, so I gotta fight this dog now. This guy doesn't normally get loose, so I wasn't sure what to anticipate there. I'll let this guy pop out of the tree, do some jabs, wind up an attack. These enemies here are incredibly dangerous. They have really good Z-axis range. What I'm hoping for is that they'll just do nothing but jump at me, which that one got grabbed and set up for another one. Yeah, that attack is really, really dangerous, but I have to just hope they don't try to go for it. So we lost a little bit of health, but nothing too terrible. Charge up our last C attack here. So as you've noticed through a lot of this, what I'm hoping for is just good sequencing. Like I need to make sure that certain things happen at certain times or else the run can go completely off the rails. Okay, good stuff there. Quick mid-boss here. There is a strat you can use where you can line this guy up against the wall and try to jab him for the second cycle, but I've never been able to be consistent at it, so I just kill him with 2 fireballs instead. And save that for this. So quick thing to note about gold enemies, any gold-plated enemies are basically by default going to have a lot more aggression and priority than enemies that are not gold of the same type. We'll be seeing a lot more of them. These guys are going to pop out, kill them with a fireball. Another quick mid-boss fight with our Bane enemy. See if we can wind up a second one. There we go. Elevator segment. Because it's a beat 'em up, we have to have that and let these guys spawn so I can just see if I can jab them to death. Good stuff there. We got a couple solo fights here. This part's actually really scary coming up because I'm going to have a couple of those gold bugs spawn. I'm going to go up here, charge, let it rip. Good stuff there. I've actually missed that a lot recently, so I'm really happy that didn't need it there. Huh. This guy, I'm not used to being here. So that's something. Get those really quickly. Okay, there we go. Still in pretty good health. Go solo this guy real quick. Good old solo round. Yep, that happens sometimes. Not really surprised about that. I expect to take a hit there. These guys are kind of wonky. What I need to watch for is the enemy on the wall. He's completely invincible until he drops to the floor. Then I have to charge. This guy is not cooperating at all. Yeah, that's what I thought. This is going to get bad. This is going to get really bad. Okay, there we go. That was very unlucky. The other enemy just wasn't cooperating at all, so not much I could do there. Okay, so I gotta mind my P's and Q's here, get some spacing. Got one more enemy that's gonna pop out of a window, but I should be able to take care of him in short order, even though I didn't get the kill on him that I wanted. Okay. So for this boss, first of all, maybe the coolest looking boss in the game. Big fan of the sprite work here. Got a couple different patterns he can do out of a combo. We have to full combo him. I can't try to infinite him because he can easily break out. By now you've seen both the patterns. One, he'll cling to the ceiling. He'll walk along. I walk underneath him, come to the other side, punch him a bunch. He got away, but he's going to do it again, so I can just do it again. The other option is he can jump directly at me, in which case that was really bad timing. Go away. Health not looking so great. Here, I'm just trying to line that up. There we go. Not used to him dropping down that quickly, so that was scary. Again, health not looking perfect, but we can play this out. Okay, I want to make sure my controller was in proper alignment. My webcam always does like those wonky things. Okay. So for these guys, these are probably the most aggressive of this type of enemy. Actually really hard to deal with if I'm not using a particular special. A does the job there. It's certainly not great because, you know, it's A and A is kind of weak, but it did what it needed to do there. Charge here, wait for 1, 2, 3, 4, let it rip. Should kill them all in one hit. Do the same with these guys. These are fairly enemies to fight in general, but because there's 4 of them and they always start out by flanking you, it's generally better just to do what I just did there. This guy right along here. By the way, for this guy to appear, let that rip. So this is the final time we're going to see this type of enemy, and it's definitely the most difficult. That's not what I wanted, nor that. The motorcycles make this quite a bit more difficult. Like, they're gonna do some really good coverage on each other. Especially with them alternating jumps like this. Yeah, that's really bad. That's basically a dragon punch. Didn't want that either. Yeah, they are not cooperating at all. Yeah, that's a credit. That's unfortunate. Normally I save a second special for that. And sometimes that's correct, but you can take just as much damage from the section where I did use it if you don't. But yeah, these guys just weren't having it today. Coupled with all the damage I took from the previous boss, I guess the ones that people meant to be, but it's fine. We'll still get to show off the rest of the game. Flip that guy out. Pick up a couple power-ups. We're gonna get a lot of use of D here. These guys release some poison gas clouds that we want nothing to do with. Definitely should have charged that up there, but we should be able to play this out. One more, I think. Yeah, he's not dead. Okay, we got these red goblin dudes coming back, but as solo fights, they're not nearly as difficult to deal with. We got 4 of them in a row, but as long as we manipulate screen scrolling properly, we won't have to fight more than 1 at a time. That's not what I wanted at all. These anti-air grabs, man, I tell you. There we go. That guy out. 1 gas bubbler. That was rude. So we got a mid-boss fight coming up. This one's kind of rough because you actually do want to use the special attack, and it's going to hit them twice because of the duration. I just don't want them coming back and hitting me before I can let it rip again. Alright, that was actually good. Sometimes they end up so close to you, they just follow right back up, and it's kind of garbage. Very, very little you can do about it. I really wanted to catch that guy. Shouldn't be spawning all this, but I'll play it out. This guy pop back in. Now I definitely need to use these. These are all gold-plated enemies. So I do this to make sure they all end up on the same side. That way when I wake back up, I can just jab them to death. Da-da-da. This song is so good. They really did a good job on the soundtrack of this game. Okay, so for this guy, I'm going to let him pop in, do that, whiff punish him. Just let that rip just to make sure those guys get out of my hair. They're not dead, I know, but they're on the same side now, so I have a much easier time taking care of them. Let 1 more of these go. Should be able to hit him again, right? Or not. What do I get for thinking, I guess? Okay, so similar to what we had for the previous mid-boss fight, we'll just be doing 2 reps of tornadoes. These guys generally tend to be a bit more cooperative, though, as you saw there. Now, even though the 1cc is already over, this boss would be one that could definitely have a capability of ruining that. So what I'm hoping for is that the guy will come up there so I can infinite him to death. I already dropped the combo. It's harder to do as an up input, so I'm gonna move down here and see if he'll give it to me as a down input. Basically, I want to not interact with the other guy at all, because those rocks are a real problem. If you play Marvel 2, it's essentially like he's calling Doom rocks assist, and it's just active the entire time. So I'm gonna manipulate him down here, put a bunch of down jabs, and cleaned out. That's generally how that fight goes. I have been able to finish it off with the up input infinite, but it's a lot harder. I usually drop it, so I'm not surprised I dropped that time either. Alright, on to our last stage. Effectively just a boss rush, but we get this awesome piece of English here. Here is your graveyard. Alright, so what I do here is I jump, grab the B, because B is definitely our best special that we have in this stage. Now, fighting both these guys at a time can be a hazard, especially if the guy on top decides to act up and start jumping a lot. I'm not surprised he's invincible there. I was surprised I got away with so much of it the previous time. That was bad. Knew that to be in line. That punch has a decent amount of invincibility to it. Gonna transform, I'm gonna try and jab him again. He's on the bottom pixel, which is really, really good for me. Very good. Now, hopefully I can do the boss fight correct this time. We get an elevator transition between each screen, which I guess is their way of including an elevator in this game, because you don't actually have to fight on one. This fight would go exactly the same as the first time, except I messed it up. So we'll try that. Did it again. Alright, I'm just gonna let it rip. Shouldn't have even grabbed the A, but I'm kinda upset about that, so I'm just gonna punch her to death. Even if I lose it at this point. Nice dance moves, though. Yeah, that's why you don't ever want to get in this position with her. Her reversal priority is insane, as you can see. Man, I don't understand that at all. Came out with the jump after the first cycle twice. Never used to seeing that. Okay. Move on out. Next couple fights are just more refights. We'll get a refight with that tentacle button. Sorry, tentacle. Eight-legged serpent guy here again. Same fight, different scenery. Go to the ceiling. Move the top pixel. Okay, to the ceiling. Got juggled. I know this is before. Clicks the ceiling, walk underneath. I know I missed the health up, but it's like not even that important. It was being covered by a hitbox, so it wasn't safe to get it. He gets into the second phase where he like pops off all of his eyes and it looks even creepier, but it doesn't change his behavior. Just gives him a transition phase for the sake of having one. Got this fight again. I have a bit easier time trying to get it here. Went to the bottom though. That's not common. Really? Not used to being lined up like that. Alright, I have to leave, if I can. This is how badly this fight can go, if they decide to let it. Yep, that's, this is not common, but okay. Guess I'll go up top. Disagree, but okay. This is kind of a disaster. I'm getting some patterns that I, like, rarely ever see, and therefore haven't adjusted to. Let him do his double reverse. Sure. We'll finish it from here at least. Plus we get to show off the sweet final boss strat. So no matter how much you credit feed the game up to this point, the final boss strat always remains exactly the same. And the best part is it starts us on the exact pixel that we need. We're just gonna stand here, and we're gonna throw kicks. And as long as we can do exactly that, this clown's not going to be able to do anything about that, because he can't get in past these. I actually have not had the time to explain about the kick, so this is as good a time as any to do that. The kick is a proximity-based normal, which means you only get it if you're attacking from a very specific distance. Let me move the stick back, the webcam got lined up off. If he gets in past the kick, then we start punching him, and we don't want that. The kick pushes him far back enough away for us to do this again, which is why we want this. He's walking into it, it's his own fault, etc., etc. Anyway, yeah, so the kick is a very, very good attack. It's just not reliable because it requires a very specific distance to be able to do it. But against this guy, he's pretty much always going to walk in the exact distance we need. He'll just keep throwing feet. Give him a taste of his favorite cereal. Now, I have lost runs where he does squirm in past that. Sometimes he'll actually get past the kick range and you start punching him, which means he can get comboed. And then he gets knocked down, and when he gets knocked down, he has access to really strong wake-up attacks, and it's not good. Keep throwing. And we're just not going to break out of this rhythm. I have been told that there is another strat that works really well in this boss, but it's significantly harder to do. It's probably faster, but I've never learned it, and this is pretty reliable, so I have no reason not to keep going with it. It is important to make sure your rhythm is kept up here, though. Like, even if you just, like, mash like I'm doing right now, you'll be able to maintain the rhythm pretty well. That'll finish off our boss. Kind of unfortunate the stage 2 boss had to clown on me twice to prevent that run from happening, but maybe I should have played a little bit safer. I really don't know. Oh yeah, also you get like 1.5 million points for just killing the final boss, which is kind of gnarly. Lots of points for such an accomplishment. Fire off with the initials. And there we have it. Get this cool little ending sequence with some more great English. Won't see it for a second, but I always like to point it out. Y'all be sure to stick around, though. We've got Air Angel coming up with some Super Ninja Kyun. Should be an awesome time. Oh yeah, you can hope next to our game. See you again. There you have it. Once again, appreciate y'all for the GGs and for hanging out through some of the issues we had this morning. We're gonna go ahead and get Air Angel set up for the next run. So feel free to stick around, and we'll see y'all again soon.